Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers! Tiki here!
And Blue Dragon 5.
And are you ready to talk some bargain bin infinity stones? And I'm not saying that in any sort of derogatory way. That's right, it's Kid Cosmic! Ba 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 ba.
Ba 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 ba.
All right, so Dragon, this is, of course, the new Netflix series from Craig McCracken, creator of such favorites as Wander Over Yonder, Dexter's Lab, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and, of course, the original Powerpuff Girls. My God, what a resume!
Well, Dexter's Lab was Genndy Tartakovsky, but yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah, I get the two of them mixed up sometimes.
Well, they are buddies, so they're buddies, so it's okay. They helped out a lot.
I'm sure McCracken worked on Dexter's Lab, right?
Well, yeah, there's actually like the kind of a next generation Cal Arts thing going on, where it's him, Robert Zitty, and Genndy Tartakovsky. They all kind of worked. They kind of helped out in each other's shows, but he didn't create those. Anyway.
Okay, my bad.
Yes, McCracken's back.
All right, and I gotta say, Dragon, bold statement here. Bold statement coming from me, but honestly, this thing really won me over right from the get-go. Dragon, it's got a particular feel to it. It's got I don't know, it kind of reminds me vaguely of something that happened in the 90s that you and I grew up on that we like to reminisce about. Dragon, say it with me. Scholastic
Book
fairs. Yeah, that wasn't nearly as in unison as I was hoping for, but yes, Dragon, this very much reminds me of kind of like a mix of, the Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon shows of old, kind of like that. It's got a lot of 90s energy to it for sure. And it's also just in the look of it mostly, and the look and the characters. It's got the Scholastic Book Fair tone, the quirky characters, the small town setting. And I got to tell you, man, I really fell in love with this thing right from the get-go. I honestly, I kind of watched it in chunks just because I wanted to really savor it. I watched it in like maybe 3 or 4 chunks just because I was getting so much out of it, and I was like, oh man, I really don't want to binge through this whole thing because it's so good. And there's only 10 episodes, and some of them are only like 15 minutes long. But suffice to say, Dragon, I mean, I think this is a resounding success from Craig McCracken, and Netflix would be foolish to not pick it up for another season. I hope it does well. That cliffhanger at the end, though, we'll talk about it. Let's see. Hey there, Claude. He says Frank and Gonez worked on Kid Cosmic as well, along with Alex Hirsch. It's definitely got a Hirsch vibe. I'm not surprised about Hirsch. And Claude also brought this thing to my attention too. So I don't. This might have honestly passed under my radar if it weren't for Claude. Oh, good. Season 2 and 3. All right, that's good to know, Claude. Thanks for letting me know. All right, that honestly has me in relief, because if that cliffhanger went unresolved, I would have pulled my hair out.
Yeah, I had a Scotia background I was going to get to after my.
Yeah, what's your thesis though?
So thesis. So Craig McCracken's back in a big way. I was very impressed with this. I love seeing Craig McCracken back, doing short form storytelling, and kind of basically short form storytelling in limited series looks good on him, man. He looks good on like a well tailored suit. Seriously, it's I love seeing him kind of in this form of storytelling. We've never really gotten this with him before, like not a way such as this.
Yeah, I would say like Wander Over Yonder was a little serialized, mostly in season 2, but this is easily the most serialized thing he's ever done.
It's wonderfully condensed, like it's so well plotted and well executed. Like, it's using every part of the buffalo, like we like. And that's the thing, I can watch this thing. When I was watching, I could feel kind of how small and personal this story was to him. I could just feel it, I love the grounded feel. It has that bags of charm. And it also has some deep themes beneath the cartoony veneer where we all kind of identify with. And again, it's kind of isn't that kind of having your cake and eating it too? It's like, oh man, it's so soothing, but it's got layers, man. It's a layer cake. I love it. And again, it kind of speaks. This is kind of perfect in a way, Tiki, because we've grown up with McCracken stuff, and this is kind of McCracken style grown up, which kind of led to it being a great time because it's kind of grown up with the audience. It's getting a little more sophisticated in the storytelling, but still just as fun as kind of the stamp of approval that McCracken warrants with a large amount of his work. So this was Aces, man. I loved it.
All right, good work. Glad we're on the same page here.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's your background on it?
Yeah, Scotia background, just to how the heck we get Kid Cosmic. So Craig McCracken, he as some people probably know, he had a love for comics and superheroes as a kid. Actually, fun little touching fact: his father helped him draw as a kid because he couldn't draw when he was really young. So we kind of coach his father and instruct his father, who would then draw the superheroes for him, and that kind of passed on to him, where he then learned to draw. And his father passed at a young age, so he kind of took it from there, and that led him to kind of the journey, as it were. So, in 2009, did this comic strip, which basically was the kind of the formative version of Kid Cosmic, which he then developed for animation in 2015, 2018. He gets that Netflix traction. He gets Netflix on board, so then it's really in production, and basically sold him on from the first. He showed him an animatic of what the first episode is going to look like, and they were absolutely like us, the audience. They were sold. How could they not be? They'd have to be crazy not to go into this concept, man. So, as you imagine, production-wise, they faced a few wee hiccups during the pandemic and chaos we found ourselves in. We still somewhat find ourselves in, mainly in the mixing and the rendering stage. They did the animation using the Canadian studio. Did Wander Over Yonder, Mercury Filmworks. And as you can kind of tell with the animation style, just kind of get it in up front a little bit. The style is very much a mix of Dennis the Menace meets Tintin.
I absolutely got the Dennis the Menace vibe, but yeah, now that you say Tintin, that's not something I would have picked up on, but now that you say it, yeah, that's pretty clear, and that's cool.
And lastly, again, we kind of alluded to this when I was correcting the whole Dexter's Lab of it all, is that fun fact, so all the episodes, I mean, Kraken isn't just like, show running and creating this thing. McCracken's like, he's in deep on this, man. So he co-directed he either directed or co-directed all these episodes with one of his Cal Arts buddies, Rob Renzetti, who did My Life as a Teenage Robot.
Yeah, Renzetti. Yeah, right. He's another big name for sure.
Or for the kids who saw Dexter's Lab, the guy who did like remember the opening credits that say Dexter's Lab at the end, like literally just the big sign that Dexter pushes the
giant
button
neon sign, of course.
Yeah,
how could I forget?
That's Renzetti's signature. That's how he does the My Life as a Teenage Robot. I'm sure if he didn't do that whole opening, he at least did that end bit. I mean, that's always proof that Renzetti was involved, man, on Gendy's show. But yeah, so this, as mentioned, thankfully by Claudia up front, the show has been approved for 2 more seasons, which means our cliffhanger will not just remain an empty promise. Actually, we're going to see more, which is great.
You hear that, regular show? It only took this show 1 season to get to space.
All right.
The space thing with regular show, I did not keep up with regular show, and then when they get into space, I was like, what the hell? What did this show become? I mean, I'm sure they had a good reason for it, but anyways.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, that's it. But just to bring up Claudia's last point here, he says he's not surprised Craig left Disney because of the way Disney treated Wander Over Yonder. I mean, I'm not privy to this.
Did you ever look into Wander Over Yonder?
No, but I'm more interested in it now after watching Kid Cosmic.
I would definitely give it a chance. I'm sure it's on Disney Plus, and it's got Jack McGruber as the main character. And did I just say Jack McGruber?
Yeah, Jesus McGruber. Christ. Do you mean Jack McBrayer?
Yeah, Jack McGruber. Christ.
Is he Will Forte all of a sudden?
I'm sorry. God. Yes, the other guy, the one you just said, just so I don't get it wrong again. I would look into it, but in regards to how McCracken was treated, Dragon, it was essentially just kind of like I don't know too much about it. I know that they were screwing around with the air dates a lot, and I'm pretty sure it got canceled before McCracken wanted to end it. But
Sounds
Claude,
about right.
if you could kind of shed some light on that, I'm probably more than I do about that.
Also,
Anyways,
Claudia, Lauren Faust, lovely Lauren
hello.
Faust. Correct? Yes. Hello.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, we had a little delay there. Go
All
ahead.
right. Anyway, so Craig McCracken's lovely lady wife Lauren Faust helped develop Kid Cosmic along with him.
Nice, nice.
Okay. About does it.
Dragon, do you
So
think there's any? Because you mentioned he lost his father at a young age. I was wondering, do you think there's any autobiographical elements to this thing in regards to, Kid Cosmic losing his parents at a young age?
well, that's what I'm saying. This thing just feels so darn personal, and knowing and kind of
Yeah,
refreshing myself
yeah.
on some of McCracken's kind of formative years. I mean, I can absolutely buy into that for sure. But also, I mean, it's kind of like superhero origins as well. So it's kind of, I think it's a mix of that. I mean, just Kid Cosmic. If you look at McCracken, especially now with the long hair, McCracken. I mean, I guess he's always kind of had the long hair. So I guess my point is, if McCracken does, there's a lot of McCracken in the kid's design. So I'm not surprised by
I also think Kid
at all.
Cosmic might be the closest that we're ever going to see to Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes in animation, just in terms of personality and like look. He's like a blonde alien who ultimately wants to do good and has a big imagination.
Right.
Just saying. Anyways. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, we're just gonna take this episode by episode. Should be a fun conversation. So let's kick things off. Kid Cosmic and the Rings of Power. So Dragon, what did you think about this whole kind of like discount Infinity Stone setup we had going on here?
Well, on the whole, I think it's a really solid pilot. But as to the premise, so yeah, our five Infinity Stones. It's I thought it was again it's kind of a throwback. I love that we have a lot of kind of Marvel influence with this. Again, there's a lot of it's kind of comics from all over. Very much very fun. Very I don't know. Again, the I love that the stones have a great significance to them. It doesn't just make them like knockoffs of the Infinity Stones. I love that there's a little bit more
Mhm.
of a rationale behind the origins of the stones, and I love that as a reveal. But yeah, I mean, I like the. It's a pretty simple premise, and I like. Yeah, again, who's going to fault? Again,
And
if this show's
honestly, for
pulled.
if I'm being honest, I think that the actual powers are a lot easier to grasp than the Infinity Stone powers.
Come on, Tigger. The names are at least those stones have names. All right.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like with something like the Soul Stone or the Mind Stone, it's a lot more open to what you can actually do with it. You know what I mean? There's a lot more variables to it.
Well, okay.
Whereas something like, okay, it'll make you grow big, telekinesis, future visions, portals, multiplication factor. Like it's really straightforward powers, and I like that. I think it works to the show's advantage.
Right. But honestly, though, I do love again just kind of seeing how many influences the show's taking. Of course, like making him into rings. It's a little bit of a Green Lantern now, especially with our main guy having a green one that allows him to fly, seemingly. You got a lot. There's a lot of fun comic pulls and just kind of tying him into kind of the Infinity Stone thing, which now everyone and their mother knows what an Infinity Stone is. So making it kind of a stone
Right.
of power and then turning into a ring, which again works on a hand a little bit like the Infinity Gauntlet in a sense. I mean, there's a lot of. I just think it's kind of an amalgam. It's a fun kind of love letter to comics from
Which
all
this
over.
whole show from top to bottom is. So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I have no problem with it.
So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a cool idea, honestly. And I'll admit, when I was watching the show, I was checking out. Initially, I was a little worried that we were going to have because I remember, didn't you sour on Wander Over Yonder after a while? Was that just the air dates? Am I misremembering that?
No, I didn't. I never soured on Wander Over Yonder. I think the thing is, Jacob and I were doing recaps on them, and I think we just got too busy and we never actually finished out the recaps. But I never soured on it. I liked what I saw.
Yeah, I mean, initially, I was a little curious about how things were going to go, but once we hit the small town setting, and I'm like, okay, now I get where we're going with this. That's when it really clicked for me. So it's this, this superhero loving kid who he wants to form a team of superheroes to stop aliens from coming for the stones, aka the rings, if you will. Again, just an excellent simple premise. Just really good. And again, we just kind of we fill a lot of that with great characterization of like honestly, the show really sells me once we get into the Joe of it all. Joe is really, I think, the X factor of the show.
Mm-hmm.
In many respects. I mean, don't get me wrong, Kid Cosmic's a very big deal, especially once we get into the layers of his back. Like, if I'm to really, I know I'm a little over the place here, but I'm to pinpoint it to one exact moment. It is the little news clipping moment. And Joe's there. That's why I'm thinking of Joe mainly. So when Joe's in the trailer and she's kind of getting to know the kid, and she's looking around the kind of the trailer fortress of solitude, if you will.
Yeah.
She kind of like looks through and she finds the news clipping that just teases that okay, something bad happened to the kid's parents. It looks like car accident of some variety. And that's all you need. Is like that little snippet. That's like okay, I see where we're going with this. I'm hooked, man. I'm down. I want to see where this is going.
Yeah, certainly. And overall, I think the pilot does do a great job of kind of like, establishing the stakes, but not giving away too much all at once. I like that each of the characters is introduced, but we don't necessarily know what their role is going to be quite yet.
Mm-hmm. I love, let's talk about our setting a little bit. So we are in New Mexico.
Oh, God, the setting is so fucking good. It's one of my favorite parts of the show in general. It's just the desert setting.
Absolutely. Now, again, we're not in Albuquerque, which you and I are very used to at this point. But no, we're in just kind of other parts of New Mexico, which again fits the whole alien, kind of that sort of like the alien kind of sort of stuff with all the aliens being attracted towards the New Mexico setting.
Yeah,
that works.
No, I like how kind of desolate the town feels, but at the same time, it also feels homey. It kind of strikes a great balance there.
I love that we really only have like two sets in the entire show, really, outside of just generally desert. We have the junkyard, and we have Moe's Oasis, which very much is like a nod to Mos Eisley's, let's be honest. The Moe's Oasis. Again, I just love this family-owned diner. And I just want to highlight this here because this connects to a lot of the other episodes. Oh, the theme of family, and especially how it is in contrast to Kid. Because think about it, episode 1's mainly about Kid and Joe in contrast to each other, where Kid has very much kind of a broken family, if you will. I mean, he's got Papa G, and we all love. I mean, I love Papa G.
Oh, we'll get to Papa G, yeah.
We will. So, of course, he's got Papa G.
He's kind of like a more soft version of Grunkle Stan, whereas Grunkle Stan is like abrasive. Papa G, it's like, kind of like the more loving version of him.
Sure. I mean, I love that these stones all have a correlation and kind of fill a need for each character. Let's talk about Joe. So Joe wants to travel. She wants to go all over the place. Therefore, we give her, and also she has purple hair. Therefore, we give her the purple portal stone, if you will, which allows for that. And I love how that is.
I think her power is probably the most visually interesting out of all of them. Would you agree to that?
I think it's the coolest. Yeah. Also kind of the most dangerous if you think about it.
It is the most, it's like kind of like a risk-reward factor sort of thing.
Yep. And I love that her power is also in contrast to her mother initially, where her mother wants to stay but wants to get visitors, which again fits into the whole alien thing of the show. Like all these alien visitors coming down, which again, like these, I just love how these powers are in contrast to each other. They're working wonders. Again, Kid's flying before he can walk, essentially, like flying before he can run, which is very much kind of how that's going for him.
Can I just say for the record, I love the fact that we don't actually give Kid a name throughout the show.
Yeah, we just call him Kid.
I hope we stick to that, honestly. I like that a lot. That kind of has that's honestly the main the main element that has a Scholastic Book Fair vibe to me is that naming.
Yeah, I mean, the closest thing we get to a name, really, within Kid's family is we in a really intense moment, we get Papa G's name, which is George, and it's just the first name.
Right.
If we ever get Kid's full name, it's going to be something really bad and Ashen's about to happen. Like, oh my God, the world's about to end, and like, you Kid, what's your shortening, if you will? I don't know if someone's going to like an established nickname or something. I don't know. No idea. Anyway, but I think the big scene of episode 1, the crossroads. So episode 1 is a lot of like, okay, they have powers and it's fun and they're figuring out, and of course, then when we deal with our alien, which we'll get to in a second here, but the crossroads scene, like literally when they're walking down the street, basically our other set piece is just the aimless like kind of strip of street, pretty much.
Right.
We're at kind of this crossroads, and I love that Kid sells Joe on essentially the idea where Joe is like kind of interested in like the power aspect. And then, oh my God, alien invaders! I can't do this. I'm out. I don't want any part of this. where kid kind of elicits a great deal of genuine sympathy from her here. Where this kid just wants to stop bad things from happening and prove that he can do something right, which absolutely sparks Joe. And I love that fundamentally his imperative, very much like Batman doesn't want any kid to suffer the same loss that he did. Kid, in a sense, wants that as well. He wants to stop bad things from happening that seemingly are out of people's control, like the car accident that killed his parents, which I thought was really moving. And it sparks Jove, like she kind of like you see emotionally she's feeling for the kid, as we already saw. Remember that really fun introduction at the diner, where it's like she's kind of helping the kid out.
Yeah.
She likes that wacky kid. It drives her mother.
There's a great kind of like older sibling dynamic with Joe. That's the best way I can describe it.
Absolutely, kind of like early Bulma and Goku, if you will. To use a
God,
in a sense. And
God, Bulma and Goku. That's a fun dynamic. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Back to
right.
But it's sort of like just again also sparking her desire for adventure and again just basically to be more than the sad reality where Joe, no matter what she does, she's still going to be landlocked to this diner, which essentially is also a truck stop, which is very appropriate given kids' backstory and given where we go in episode 10. The whole trucks equal doom in this show. I love that.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just kind of like this sad reality. We're all just kind of stuck here, but let's make the most of it. It's kind of a really nice kind of rallying thing for all our characters in the small town vibe. Small, truck stop vibe. I don't know how, because there's not really a town. When there's barely
not.
I mean, there's like a couple buildings, but barely. I mean, there's like a post office. That's about it.
It doesn't even have a name, does it?
Well, no, we're just in New Mexico. It's about
yeah.
But again, it kind of lends to like in any town.
Like for all we know, it could just be like a random like spotcha highway.
Oh, to be fair, this is the same guy who made the show where the city of Townsville, or it's Townsville.
Well, that at least had a name.
But no, I'm saying it's like any town anywhere being the idea.
Right. Yeah.
Townsville, or the most we got is Citiesville. I think it's very generic, so everyone can identify with it being the idea. Okay, so let's talk about our villain. Let's see what we kind of set up here with a great arc. Let's talk about the wonderful Tom Kenny as Stuck Chuck.
Yeah, Tom Kenny. He also stole the show in Wander Over Yonder, and he does here as well.
Why doesn't he steal the show? He's wonderful.
First of all, I love his arc. The thing with the voice box. I love the sound of the voice box. How it comes in kind of like almost Bane-like. You know what I mean?
A little bit, yeah. It's very pronounced and memorable.
Right.
I love that he's Craig McCracken's sort of ace in the hole for the show. So if anyone's skeptical, if anyone's going to point that, man, these guys really kind of stink at it, we have a character to voice this. He's covering the audience's criticism of like, why aren't they better? Why am I watching this superhero show? Yeah, the alien doesn't believe it either, guys. And he's the uphill battle. If you have to sell this guy to actually be afraid of you, to actually either be afraid of you or like, okay, you actually have a chance here. Why the heck should I be on your side? I'm just stuck here. So again, like Stuck Chuck, hence the name. Works on so many levels and has a wonderful arc that we'll break down as it unfolds. It kind of gets to the big turning point as it were. And also, I love the last little bit. Unless you have anything else you want to get in there,
we should probably just give credit where credit's due to Craig Ferguson as Papa G.
Yes, Craig Ferguson's awesome, Tiki, but this is Keith Ferguson.
Wait, Keith Ferguson. Tell me.
Yeah, Craig Ferguson is the one who had the late night show. And he's Rodney McStew from Freakazoid.
Okay, tell me who Keith Ferguson is.
Okay,
then.
Keith Ferguson he's kind of does the voice of Han Solo when we can't get Harrison Ford. He's kind of the go-to Han Solo voice.
Okay, wow, I feel so fucking dumb, Dragon, because I'm so dumb. Dragon, I swear to God, this whole time I was like, wow, Craig Ferguson sure has a good American accent.
You're not wrong, though, because Craig Ferguson, again, does a lot of great voice work outside of the...
Yeah, I've heard him do American accents before, so that's why I was like, I feel so dumb now, Dragon. I watched the whole damn show thinking that was Craig Ferguson. Oh God. All right, wow. I just need to read.
Well, the first time when I saw the Lego movie, and that's when I looked into who's doing the Han Solo, it sounds so like Harrison Ford. That's when I had the same epiphany you're having now. Like for a moment, I saw Ferguson.
Yeah.
Thought,
it's a similar name too. It's a similar name.
Yeah.
Ray Keith.
Yeah. But the point
Oh
being that
god.
though, Keith Ferguson did a great job as Papa G. Again,
Oh,
very
absolutely.
he does sound different than he usually sounds. Just to give you some credit there, where he is doing a great performance here though as Papa G. I've never heard him do an old man voice before, so that was anyway. Where was I? Where was I going? Oh yeah,
Oh, okay, Glomgold, right?
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, and Lord Hader. Oh wow,
Oh, I forgot that he was Glomgo. Oh,
yeah,
that's okay. That's it's even better. Oh yeah, and that's the
and
bet. Oh yeah,
Blue.
that's the other thing I meant to mention. He was Blue from Foster's Home for. I got distracted with the
Okay,
Han
so
Solo.
this guy's
Oh yeah,
a real McCracken alumni. All right,
big
gotcha.
time. Yeah. Yeah. Where was? Anyway, yes. So one last thing, guys. I love Rosa. I love how I love that bit with Rosa where she's playing in the road. She just wants to do some playtime. And we kind of we put her out. The kid won me over big time when he's like, kind of like playing in the middle of the road's not safe. Say safe, citizen. Is kind of biking off against the mundane. But again, the kids, we see his superhero potential right there. So this kid has the heart of a hero, which is going to play really big. He's got the spirit, which is definitely going to play into our narrative later on. And just to transition us, I love that each episode has a great cliffhanger. Where okay, now Rose is running rampant with the size change in the stone. Which again, every episode has a great lead into the next. After our little record player thing, which takes us.
I feel like this season has a great, not necessarily a 2-act structure. It has a great 2-part structure to it. You know what I mean? Where the first 5 episodes are them kind of like coming together as a team, and then the last 5 episodes are kind of like the like the big inciting incident, and then them having to kind of overcome it. I feel like it's a very satisfying structure that way, especially how they build everything up. Like the way everything gets built up, we'll talk about it. But it's kind of like, all right, forming the team goes on missions, the town discovers the team. It's a nice build.
Absolutely.
Anywho, let's get into Kid Cosmic Lilan. Oh God,
Would you like me to do it?
Please.
I know you have trouble with Spanish.
Yes, I do.
Kid Cosmic, Kid Cosmic y la Niña Gigant. Here's the thing. I'm sorry, I want to get the pronunciation right because I say Gigantica, but it's a Gigantica.
Gigantica. Okay.
Kid Cosmic y la Niña Gigantica.
Gotcha. Okay. This is one of my favorites just because it's one of the more standalone episodes. It's basically just how Rosa joins the team, and it's kind of just like the kid and Joe just trying to play with her and calm her down. But I really like how standalone it is and how clever the animation is too. Like we get a lot of good sight gags with powers in this one.
Oh, we do. Rosa, it's not better as a character. Really cute. Just basically this cute 4-year-old with a ring that makes her big and basically makes her the Hulk of the team, which is hilarious. I mean, we made the 4-year-old the Hulk pretty much. Well, it's kind of a cross between a Hulk and Giant Man in a sense.
Yeah, I thought more Giant Man. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, she's also kind of like the muscle of the team, and she's always like doing whatever. It's like kind of like a Hulk smash, Molly.
No, you're right with the attitude. Yeah. It's like she's got a more playful. She's like a more playful toddler version of the Hulk in terms of attitude. I can see that.
That's like this show. I just want to put this in perspective here again with the whole with the whole kind of half and half breakdown. You just laid out is that amazingly this show is so amazingly paced compared to other shows because the team essentially doesn't have to get a name yet, but it's essentially formed by episode 2. Everyone gets a ring.
Yeah.
which is insane. Like I didn't expect it to be. Oh my god, we have the team by episode 2. How fast are we moving here? It's only been like 20 minutes.
No, there's like I said, there's stuff that happens halfway through that I thought they'd save for more towards the end, like Joe's mom finding out about the team, for example.
Exactly. We both build and dissolve the team in 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Crazy. Again, as I mentioned, H.H. Ring kind of fills a desire here, in Rose's case, very much like she wants to play with the big kids, ergo, big kid.
Uh-huh.
Papa G, he again fundamentally as a character, he wants to be enough to help his grandson. Ergo, he becomes more than himself. Becomes the ultimate fix-it solution. He's essentially worried. I would argue fundamentally he's afraid he's not enough of a parent. Therefore, he can be enough of a parent with the ring.
Sure.
Dragon,
Really
Yes,
quick,
go
I
on.
want to point out this comment from Claude. I like how we have different generations of people on the team: a kid, a teen, a toddler, and an adult old man. I would even wager to say that once we get the personality for the cat, I would say he's probably like more the adult. You know, like he's kind of like maybe like 30s, 40s kind of in terms of
Yeah.
attitude, and then Papa G is the old man.
Yep. We
So
cover the
it
full
really,
gambit.
yeah. So you're right. I really, and not only that, but we get a diversity of races as well, which is nice, and
Of course,
genders.
speaking
Just
of the cats, the tuna.
diverse across the board. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Speaking of tuna sandwich, the cat here. Which, by the way, tuna sandwich. Just tuna sandwich. Of course, what tuna sandwich wants is to warn and protect his pals, which he gets the opportunity to do. With even if he can't speak initially, it's like little like meow meow, like his little disaster beacon. We're like, hey, watch out! So the cat's a part of the team. So, yeah, so this episode, just the long and short of it is Joe is stumbling as she's trying to cover up the chaos, with her mom Flo and the diner saying, like, hey, we're shooting a movie and there are earthquakes going on. Earthquakes! Let's get inside. Let's not look outside. Like, don't look at the little girl playing with the little flying guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is also Rosa. This whole the episode about just giving Rosa all those powers. I love the McCracken. This is the McCracken signature of powerful and clever female, or in this case, girl characters. Where it's very much Powerpuff Girls. Oh, we're running the full McCracken gambit. This show. It's just kind of the perfect greatest hits, but in something entirely new and different. It's just this. It's this great. Like it's McCracken through and through. It's awesome.
Claude just confirming that Craig did have a third season of Wander planned, and yeah, I believe season 2 ended on a big cliffhanger too. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I believe that was the case. Anyways,
It
go
was
ahead.
really it was a nice it was nice to see Kid kind of go through his arc with kind of like this brother sister dynamic with Rosa. It's like
Yeah, I
it's
like
very
how he's the middle child in the team. Like clearly Joe's the older sister, and then Rosa's the baby of the family.
exactly. And again, it's like, hey Rosa, stop messing up my battle
I
plan
just,
here.
I also really the fact that like they have to like for basically the first half of the season, they pretty much have to pretend that it's playtime every time that they that Rosa is part of the team. I feel like that adds another kind of like Hulk layer a
I
little
know that's
bit.
their Hulk smash. That's a hey
Right,
Rosa
right.
playtime. Speaking of which, I think I think the hilarious scene of this episode for me is Mrs. Flores, who's also voiced by the wonderful Greg Griffin.
Yeah.
Miss Flores calls Rose's mom, and while we're in the midst of kind of this whole babysitting playtime cover, where I love the idea that somehow she can hear Rosa just like saying, "Hey, I get to do all this crazy, I get to do all this crazy kid stuff. I'm playing, I'm trying to catch kid." And all that sort of stuff, and just like, oh yeah, so you can watch her though, right? Can't you, Joe? Oh yeah, wouldn't have it any other way. It'd be
Well, you
hard to
know
watch.
what? It speaks to how creative the writing is. That like when Rosa tells her story, it
Mm-hmm.
very much sounds like just like the ramblings of a kid's
Mm-hmm.
imagination, and yet it's what literally went down in the episode, and it makes sense to us as an audience. You know what I mean? I feel like that speaks to like McCracken gets it in terms of like the kid storytelling.
Absolutely. Now, just since you've said that, let's just to frame things a little bit around the generation gap. Wonderfully, kind of like diverse, the wonderfully diverse generation gap between all of our characters here. Papa G. So let's talk about Papa G.
Uh huh.
So Papa G, yeah, I'm sorry, go on, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Papa G's cool. He's go with the flow. Grandfather, again, we love our great animated
I like
grandfather.
how there's some mysteries around him though.
There is, because apparently he's got this big record we don't know about.
That's what's very Grunkle Stan-esque about it to me.
Yeah, actually, with the glasses, he does have a bit of a bit of a Grunkle Stan sort of look.
Right.
In a sense. But yeah, I love I
Those were
love
my
that.
hippie days.
Yes.
Don't do drugs, kids.
All right.
All right.
But yeah, I love that again. He's just kind of on the surface here, this nice kind of go with the flow character, but ultimately he's got a really touching motive. Where again, because of the loss that his grandson suffered, he's trying to be the fun grandfather. He's trying to bring the
Very
kid
much kind
less
of
pain.
getting a Steely Phil vibe.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, yes,
Uh-huh.
absolutely. You can involve the great, kind of grandfather animated characters that we
Oh,
know
he
and
is
love.
the best. If we were
Yeah.
to do a list of animated grandparents, I think he would probably be numero uno.
To me, it's Phil versus Lou, man. They're both great, but I mean, Phil. I admit, at the end of the day, you gun to my head, I'm probably going to say Phil, but I love Lou. The point being, we have great animated grandparents.
Uh-huh.
Off topic. So again, he brings a kind of a great kind of like this is a guy who's seen it all. So it's like he's not this turbite flying. The kid can fly now. One's turning giant. Like
They
okay,
fly now.
yes, the kids
I'm
are flying now.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I love on the opposite end of the spectrum, though. We have Chuck, who again, Chuck ties into the theme of the episode, which is he's just so childish with Kid. I just love how childish and petty he is, just mocking Kid at every turn.
Uh-huh.
I love the kid. The kid just to treat him like a prisoner, yet he's not. Just treat him like a roommate. He's just really
Right.
and just he's like, hey, I was reading all his comics that are around. And again, he's the audience you have to sell ultimately, which again, pretty much per the arc of the show. And honestly, what's great too is that Chuck kind of there's kind of a Legends of Tomorrow potential problem the show could face, and I love how Chuck helps circumvent that. Where Legends of Tomorrow, the DC show, the
Yeah.
problem in the first season was these guys. The gag was these guys are not heroes, and yet they're put in the heroic position, and they keep screwing up. But the problem was they at the end of the first season they didn't hit enough that they were getting better along the way. It just seemed like they just keep screwing up till the end of the season.
Gotcha.
In this case, we have to call that out and then actually see him get a little better over time. So again, Chuck being that voice, like just not pretending like no, they're getting better. Like, no, they're not getting better. What's going on here? My big line here, big line from Papa G that definitely is a huge line for the show. One of my favorites actually. Rose as Rose about to crush Chuck. He would cease to be stuck Chuck. He would become crushed Chuck, which would not nearly be as interesting. It would just be horrific. No, Rosa, heroes help, not hurt. I gotta tell you, man, that is such a wonderful spin. I was like jazzing in my mind when I heard
I
that
gotta
line.
tell you, Dragon, like because Papa G's got so many Uncle Ben vibes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm legitimately worried he's not gonna make it to the end of this show.
To be fair, we did see him die many times this season, so
Well, yes, but you know what I mean.
yeah, I know what you mean. Again, next season could be the darker season, given like the big, the stakes being upped majorly. So I don't know.
Given how mature this show is, I legitimately wouldn't be surprised if we killed him off. I honestly because he's got such a mentor vibe.
I remember when he got hit
like,
with that crowbar. I was really scared. Like, oh
oh, I
no,
know, I was too. Yeah.
Chuck, how could you hit the old man? No. But no, seriously,
Right.
though, heroes help, not hurt. It's just such a wonderful spin on the big moral lesson, or the Uncle Benism, if you will, the whole great power, great responsibility. And again, it's so perfect
Freaking
because
out, breathe it out.
I know all these isms are all these great all these great little phrases are so perfect. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
about them is that it fits perfectly to it's something that has to make sense to a 4-year-old, yet universally be sound. And I think it is. It's so universally sound. Like, yeah, it's true. I mean, you can't really refute that. Heroes help not hurt. The real heroes.
Right.
And I'm talking about the Zack Snyder heroes. They just hurt.
Oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, we don't drive through people. No. So, that's great. I love that Papa G's also like rooting for Chuck's redemption and his arc, and he's just again the wise man in the room saying, "Yeah, Chuck's a good guy." Charles, like, what do you mean, Charles? No, Chuck's not. Yeah, when points we got a lot of great track. Of course, where's the last ring going? Well, it's going to go to our third episode.
Claude wants me to just bring up that Papa G reminds him of Hot Pop from Amphibia. Never seen the show, but he's voiced by Bill Farmer, so kind of a little bit of a goofy vibe as well.
Sure.
Okay. Kid Cosmic and the Precognitive Cat.
So Tuna Sandwich is on a mission, which could mean life or death, folks. The cat has a big mission.
Yeah, this is by the way, Jerome, we might want to pick up the pace a little bit with these.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a really fun episode just in terms of the premise of like, oh my God, like something terrible is gonna happen and the cat has to get there, but how can the cat get there? He's just a silly cat. He doesn't go very fast at all.
And we keep getting him setbacks. Like once he finally makes his way down the road, the old, the lady, Carla, I think, on the motorcycle, like takes him all the way back to the diner, the last place he wants to be. But yeah, so tuna sandwich, man. I was so ridiculously moved by the backstory on tuna sandwich. Just seeing the little flashback, a young kid kind of taking them in and feeding them the sandwich, or everyone's just giving them cat food, and it's just like it's so mundane yet it's such a touching motive for the cat's journey is imperative to save his friends, and only McCracken could make that work. Only he could. I love that McCracken gave the cat a seemingly useless power for the. It's a genius idea. We've given the cat the most helpful power. Like to tell you what's going to happen, but the cat cannot vocalize it, and just this hilarious setback in all these hilarious setbacks along their journey to save his pals. It's a great framework for the episode.
Right.
Let's see. So basically, the main thing of the episode too, and the A plot, I guess. Kids trying to be a proactive leader, trying to train the team, but to do so, Chuck offers a MacGuffin. Very baity MacGuffin, which I'll admit that is the one criticism I have this season is like, the scroll's a bit of a buy, where it's like Chuck
kind of reminded me of like an early Steven Universe thing.
Yeah. It's funny, when I went back to it, if you read that scroll, it actually does tell you what the secret of the stones is later on that we learn. So it's kind of it's pretty much there if you freeze frame. But the sacred space scroll. Yeah, it's a bit of a buy. It's like, yeah, come on. Chuck just lucked into that and thought it was like a paper towel roller. I don't know. I don't buy that. Of course, Joe with the great moral that life doesn't come with an instruction manual, which again is very much one. It's a little nod to are you familiar at all with The Greatest American Hero?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I won't bore you with it here. Just it's a really obscure pull. The Greatest American Hero. It's
all right.
Anyway, we dismember Chuck again with a portal, slices him in half as they jump.
God, I like that they commit to that gag, Dragon. I like that his legs don't grow back or anything. His teeth grow back, but not his legs.
Yeah. I love Rose's connection with Chuck in the episode. Like he's like, Princessa. Rose is like, oh, we gotta get the princess back to her castle. That's how we find Chuck's spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of fun. We named the team Local Heroes. That's good. It's a good name too, by the way.
I think that's super fitting, and also once again, it gives me a Scholastic Book Fair vibe. That's probably the biggest Scholastic Book Fair vibe I get is just that team name. Honestly,
yeah, absolutely. Let's see. We give everyone names now on the super team. Of course, we got Kid Cosmic. We got Old Man Many Men.
I love that name.
I know, me too. It's cool. Little girl and tuna sandwich, the precognitive cat. All right, let's see. We set up the documentary idea. So we're setting up. They're documenting their progress, and let's see. So tuna sandwich saw the big finale in the vision. So this is when tuna sandwich sees how the whole first season's going to end, which is going to be big. And it's going to come later. Okay.
All right, let's get on. Sorry, let's get on to Kid Cosmic and the Local Heroes. So yeah, this is the faux documentary episode. I don't blame you. This is a great episode. It's got that faux documentary vibe, much better than something like oh god, what was that Steven Universe episode? Dragon Rising Tides, Crashing Skies. I think.
I think so. It was either that or no. I think you're right. That's it.
So much better than that. I really like that. Like I said, after the team pretty much comes together by the end of episode 3, this is the team working together, and we get to see a lot of different scenarios. The format of the episode really gets shaken up, and I like how these episodes, generally speaking, they have a pretty similar vibe to them, but occasionally we get the the Stuck Chuck and the cat episode. We get the Earth Enforcement Force. Try saying that 3 times fast. So I like how there's just enough spice to how they tell the stories in the season, and this episode is probably the best example of that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so creatively structured. I mean, we have like the movie making with the cover story there. We've given it such purpose with the video. We've given it has a purpose with the video evidence reveal later on. We have like a big like a big kind of earth shattering kind of secret that's going to separate the team. And again, we cover so much ground because again, next episode's when all the bad stuff's going to happen essentially. And I love that we get so much like time with the team here. It's like you feel so. It's like again, it's like the montage in Captain America: The First Avenger. It's like we get a lot of time built in there, like these adventures this team goes on. Honestly, it's just better structured here, though.
Yeah.
Like all this time passing, all the adventures, the idea of Chuck and Papa G as like they're the as this nine infant filming crew filming the documentary. We have like these interviews, which are genius, like the little talking head interviews, like reacting to like all the medals and everything. So big nod to Star Wars that once the team does something heroic, they do like a little medal ceremony, like the end of A New Hope. It's really funny. We see the team. This is a genius idea. I love the idea that the team lucked in. All these encounters that the team have with their alien invaders have been remarkable. For the most part, they've done it based on luck. They just lucked out in these encounters. Like this little green alien kicks their butts and is about to leave with the stones, and then it basically kills itself running into the power lines.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's
yeah.
genius.
So it really is kind of showing, like the team is coming together, but they're not quite there yet, and they've got a long road ahead of them, which is pretty much kind of one of the big points of the episode, I think.
Absolutely, and again, it's that Legends thing, man. I love that we're not just like pretending like they're getting better at this. Like, no, they're not there yet, but they're really lucky. The bounty hunter. Okay, so the bounty of the headhunters was hysterical. Or she's haggling over the stones.
Oh, that's another thing is that I like how the episode is structured like a bunch of mini episodes. We keep getting the titles.
Yeah. All the time.
Yeah.
It's geez, of course. I love the bounty. The headhunters has like the coolest design ever, and she doesn't do anything.
Oh, right. They have like this big build up, and then it's like just a very simple negotiation.
And we have like a Mandalorian-esque character.
It is very much a Mandalorian build up. I think that's pretty much where they got the inspiration from. I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
We have like armies fighting each other, taking each other. I just love the logic. You never see that. Like, yeah, let the armies fight each other, then come in. Just again, like in Rosa. Okay, now I think the funniest dark joke in the whole season we got to talk about. Okay, so Rosa accidentally kills these little spacemen alien guys. Remember?
I mean, there, like you said, Dragon, there is quite a bit of depth on this show between all the, all the different Papa G's getting killed off, and then there's definitely quite a bit of alien casualties as well. Like, this show is not afraid to show death.
I love how innocent it was, though, in Papa G, and it's kind of like a comedic foreshadow for Papa G keeping a secret later on, where, again, he's kind of lying to the little girl and protectors, like, Roseanne, we don't, like, they've been whooped, we don't need to, hurt them any worse than they are, and she says, okay, you guys should go home and think about what you did. She just puts them in a little silo and just tosses it in the space, and Papa G's like, yay! It's like, oh, God, she just murdered, the 4-year-old just murdered all these aliens, and later on, they're floating in space, dead. That's so messed up. Oh, God.
Hey there, executive. You missed us talking about the first 4 episodes, but we're only about halfway through, so welcome. Anyways,
okay, let's see. So the point is a lot of fun stuff there. I think we are kind of talking about the Medal of Heroism stuff, big Star Wars nod. So Kid
stole Mr. Miyagi's Medal of Honor.
Oh, are you there?
I just got through season 2, so yeah, that's on my mind.
Funny. Okay, so last big thing we should talk about with this one is Kid's role in the episode. So Kid, we get the lower you fall, higher you fly lesson because Kid's feeling a little inadequate right now because all the other team are getting medals, even despite them being lucky. And like also for like body disposal, like one of the Papa Jesus traumatized is going to need therapy because he had to cut up the giant alien corpse they had to bury and Rosa wouldn't do it. It's crazy. So we have the big, and this is like a classic thing we've seen in comics from time to time, especially DC comics, where like there's a secret that kind of tears the team apart. And the secret in this case is that
Oh yeah.
Papa G pretended to be an army of robots for Kid to defeat and give him a big win, which again, it was such a haunting moment to me when we reveal in that tape when Kid turns around. It's like it's like, oh God, Papa G, no, no, you made that up. You lied to the kid. He hugs him to make sure he doesn't see it.
Yeah,
And
they did a really good build up to that reveal. It was kind of like a oh god, a Chekhov's gun. I'm sorry.
yeah, there you go. Check.
Yeah, it was kind of a Chekhov's gun for quite a while in terms of the plot.
Absolutely, and it gets paid off in the next episode. But it works again. It's so much happens. It's so
No, but
seamless.
there is a tension about it though. You know, it's like
Yes,
throughout everything, you're just like, oh god, when's the ball gonna drop?
absolutely. And again, he's just this. I feel for Papa G. You understand why he did it because the kids. He wanted these rings are supposed to be not supposed to be a source of pain. You absolutely get it. The truth would destroy him. And of course, Chuck's got a foreboding plan that we're going to see fulfilled in the next episode.
All right. So, Kid Cosmic and the big win.
Rosinko.
So yeah, like I said, Dragon, this is pretty much the culmination of the first. Well, obviously, it's the culmination of the first half of the season, but it's a great halfway point for the story, where the teams come together, the teams had a lot of bonding experiences. Now it's time for the townspeople to get in on it, and I like the fact that we don't dabble in that secret identity BS for too long. It's a very I feel like it's very refreshing that the team is at this point kind of like local celebrities almost.
Yeah, I love that the theme of the episode, especially after like the big cliffhanger of episode 4, is that this episode's theme is secrecy and fallout of said secrets. So I guess more so the next episode's more fallout. But I point out the theme of the episode is secrecy, which is definitely kind of put to the test when now the secret's been revealed to all of our loved ones here, and they're gonna have some thoughts and feelings on that, but they can't really think about it right now because they're surrounded by a bunch of demon death dogs. Let's talk about these alien demon death dogs.
I mean, I feel like the Demon Death Dogs is kind of like par for the course in a good way with some of the other it very much reminds me of something like Infinity Train Dragon.
Yeah, they're like the things in the wasteland. There's little
yes, exactly.
Yeah, my favorite thing I love the world building of these things. I love the idea that the collar creates like an energy construct, and the collar can be reprogrammed and basically defeated by a paperclip. I love the defeated by a paperclip thing. I'm thinking about Toy Story 3 once they brought out that paperclip.
Right.
But yeah, and of course we have like a great kind of a Netflix equivalent oneer, if you will. I know it's not a oneer, but oneers are really difficult in animation.
They are.
I'm not faulting him for not, but I like there was like kind of a nod to the oneer and that doo-wop, the diner fight, the set to the doo-wop on the jukebox.
Right.
A lot of fun. You got some cool action. Again, it's pretty much it's a bottle episode. We're stuck in the truck stuff for a whole episode, pretty much, which is a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Really forces them to confront their problems, and the folks won't go through the portal because they're afraid they're going to end up like Chuck. So at bonus, everyone's on board after we save the day. Again, we bring out kind of our hulky secret weapon in the girl, and we then realize, oh wait a minute, we can use him to our advantage. Hey, help fix the neon sign. It's like, yeah, this is great. Why do we have a problem with this?
It pretty much kind of takes on a Steven Universe vibe for a hot minute there with the townspeople.
But I love that we call out the whole like, hey, give them the rings. Where obviously it's a bad idea because then they're going to wipe out the universe with these rings, which is not good. But again, it's like just the first world problems. Like, no, I don't care about that. I want death dogs to stop ruining my family diner. What are you doing? So then we have the Kid Cosmic of it all. That really this is the big kind of like big punch of episode 5 here. So. Kid is labeled the comic relief, and I thought this was a genius thing in the storytelling. I'm sorry, folks. I don't keep sounding stock with like it's genius, but it is really smart though. It's a smart idea. Ultimately, Kid Cosmic is he's a mascot in the spirit of the team. Would you agree? He's less the leader. He's more kind of like he symbolizes the team, but he's not.
Sure.
And I love that again. We see he is the one as Joe exposits to her mother, like he's kind of the weakest link to the team, but they love him, and he's he kind of got the team together, which is kind of heartbreaking to get we get this heartbreaking liar reveal from Chuck, and one of Tom Kenny's greatest and cruelest performances as Chuck. Would you say?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh god, and again, it's very much like a Pixar Dan Scanlon sort of observation about the power of flight. Again, at this point, thinking it's flight.
The whole thing kind of has like a Dan Scanlon vibe to me, honestly.
Very Monsters University-esque, yeah.
I was thinking more Onward with the loss of the parents, but yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right about that. I was thinking more like the whole the reveal, like you're not as good as something as you thought.
Oh yeah, absolutely, sure.
But think about this again. Assuming at this point we're thinking it's flight, and assuming it's flight, when you really think about the logic, just like the Dan Scanlon logic here, is that a kid, he's like just a kid, no strength, no he's not Superman. He can fly. It's like every kid, if you ask, hey, what do you want to do? What power do you want? I want to fly. But if you really thought that through, so you can fly, and you want to be a superhero, but what do? I mean, you can't really punch a giant thing. You can't really. Basically, the kid with flight is going to be ineffective, as we kind of see, especially if the kid can't control his flight, which again, and if Joe's the leader instead of the kid, what is he bringing to the table? So that complication makes so much sense, and we never talk about that sort of thing. And I'm so proud of this show for doing that.
No, you're right. It's a very real-world issue,
Yeah. That brings us to episode 6, kind of the Fallout episode.
Yeah, Kid Cosmic and the epic fail, definitely kind of like the, would you say it's the low of lows? Yeah, for sure. And, so, of course, this is where pretty much all hell breaks loose and everything goes wrong.
I love how, honestly, if you look at the structure of this is where the episodes get shorter in the season. If you really look at them, they get a little under 20 minutes.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up. And that also kind of fits in with the 3-act structure of it all, because normally it takes longer to, to set up a story than to pay off a story. So that does make sense.
This whole thing is really structured around kid gets a bad idea and follows through with it. It's like in the course of a night. So it's a real short time frame. And I just love, and also again, Chuck has that phenomenally soul crushing scene where he just has this, Chuck we've built up, and he's building this ETS communication device that he's going to use to signal his people, and he's goaded Kid Cosmic into allowing this. For his own vanity, like, you prove you're a real hero, let me call my people, essentially. But he's going to manipulate him into doing so. And I love he just gets this really cruel speech about, you're like that Bat guy, only you don't have any like the talent, the charm, and he's needling the kid. And you feel so bad for the kid, don't you?
Oh yeah. I mean, this is really where, like I said, this is where kind of like the heart of the show kind of picks up.
And again, the whole car accident on Route 70 too is when we fully addressed the origin.
I mean, that is, like I said, that is probably the critical moment of the series right there. That's where everything kind of comes into play. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I love the little Spider-Man No More reference to it. It says, yeah, give up all the other heroes. I don't understand.
Then we got to a comic book cover that's obviously inspired by Spider-Man No More.
Yeah, of course, greatest Spider-Man story. How can you not? So let's see. So Kid. So this now, I think one of the most one of the greatest subversions in this season is Kid steals the rings from the team, and I love that none of them are mad, but they're in actuality they're concerned. Like they don't hold any grudges. There's no like you stole our rings.
I also love how dark that's framed. With just the shadow walking up to all of them individually.
Absolutely. It's just, and then basically Kid using the stones kind of like Thanos, only he's not good at it.
Right.
He was getting there though, and this is this great idea because again it was a logical thing. Like in theory, Kid just could have used all the rings, and then we realized, well, if he does that, it's going to expend a lot of energy. It's going to take a lot of focus, and kind of split you in a bunch of directions, which then leads to that sad. We have like. This episode just gets really sad, folks, because we have this sad, bitter moment where, like, Papa G, where he's like,
so
Kid,
sad, you could say.
Yes. So sad. One could say, where, Papa G, he's begging, Kid forgiveness, essentially, and Kid's like, Papa G, stop saying you don't want to hurt anyone ever again.
Oh, man, yeah.
thing, like, because he heard he absolutely crushed the kid, and the kid's going off to fight the army, and he does a good job, though, and he actually impresses Chuck, which feeds into his arc. It's like, I didn't know the kid actually did, he was really doing well with those rings up to a point.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. We're really teeing up the whole car accident thing too, where we have like we have that POV shot. Once he gets the vision of the future and everything, he then like sees these in the POV shot of the car accident. He's looking at the comic and then, cut away from the tragedy. It's really effective editing and everything that takes him out of his focus. And then of course all the bad stuff happens, where we have another subversion. We have the evil emperor-looking leader of Chuck's people show up, takes the rings. And then something happens, Tiki. What happens?
Basically, he just kind of surrenders.
Yeah, so the government shows up. We reveal the government has repurposed the dogs, and they basically they come in. I love how imposing this emperor looks. Like, oh, please don't hurt me! Please don't hurt me! He's just so cowardly. And anyway, so then the big reveal. We teed. Joe set up the government thing in episode 1, and then now the government is coming, but it ain't going to be a happy picture. And it was the biker the whole time.
Yeah, this biker character is just kind of absurd, and I love it.
So basically, Kid's absolutely crushed at the end, and we had this as Joe's fighting for Kid. You don't know what those rings mean to him, Joe. It's over. I just love that callous, like that kind of that somber, like it's over, like we're done. It's like this is the end of the road. The government has the rings now. We can't playtime no more. Essentially,
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, 7.
Right. Also, I just want to point out that we're an hour in. Just saying. That's kind of why I'm not saying too much. All right, Kid Cosmic and the Invaders from Earth. Let's try and keep this quick because we've still got 4 more to go. So this pretty much doesn't have Kid in it at all, right?
Yeah, we just took Kid out of the equation for this one. It's like kind of the episode is where is Kid?
So that's a bold move on the show's part, and I respect it. And I think that kind of goes to show the strength of the side characters that the episode very much stands on its own without the title character involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're giving the other characters a chance to shine and kind of get the band back together. With like Chuck's.
A lot of this episode is just like people's reactions to the cat talking, which is fun.
Yeah, this episode's really on the shoulders of Chuck and Tuna Sandwich, who has a voice, very Sam Elliott-esque voice.
Right. Which is it's a great dynamic.
Yeah. So, a lot of shenanigans, everyone like punching Chuck, because they think he's evil. Like, oh, Chuck, you, and they're like, no, he's redeemed now. Protection thing, and like Chuck wants to like put on the military's the soldier get up, which actually works eventually, which is really funny. Let's see, Man in Black. So we talked about the Man in Black. So making the Man in Black, the big government Man in Black, a biker is.
I love it. That is like some classic McCracken right there, Dragon. I love it conceptually. I really do.
It's not just that he happens to be a biker. He was like just like a government guy using a bike. No, he's a full-on biker. That's like he brings that bike everywhere. It's great. It's such a unique choice. It's very Cobra. It's kind of a Cobra Bubbles. Like, what if Cobra Bubbles wasn't as warm and cuddly at the end? What if Man Black kind of turned out to be a prick? That's pretty much.
I like that I like that they restrained it enough to have him show up like halfway through the series too, because I feel like
he's there the whole time though.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, but he doesn't really.
The guy's sipping the coffee, but if you look at it now, it's like, oh, he was taken in the situation.
No, you're right. That's really clever, but they don't. He doesn't really emerge until halfway through the season, which I think was a, kind of like an interesting way to play it. Like you said, kind of the hiding in plain sight angle of it all.
And he's a bad tipper apparently, which I buy. Okay, so one last thing with the biker, because you kind of teased up the scene earlier. Papa G versus the biker was a really great scene. I love how intimidating that seems. But that bike is like really edging towards Papa G, and he ain't budging, even though he doesn't have any ring. He doesn't have the ring.
I was kind of thinking that might have been it for Papa G, Dragon. Like I said, I was getting the Uncle Ben vibes. The show already kind of went a little dark, so I was worried. I'm not gonna lie.
So basically, we learned that just the round things out in transition is here. So we learned that the government basically allowed the kind of our average Joes to be guinea pigs before the government-sponsored team.
That was a great twist.
Which brings us to episode 8 with.
All right. Oh God. Earth Force Enforcement Force.
Okay, so first off, with the episode title, it's great that
Stupid name.
this episode completely no, yes, it's a dumb name, but think about it though, the only episode doesn't have Kid Cosmic in the title
That's true. Absolutely. Absolutely.
because it is
And I think
again.
very fitting because it's mostly just the dumb Earth Force guys with Kid Cosmic kind of on the sidelines.
Yeah, because the episode starts pretty like Act One of the episode is all Earth. Honestly, I mean, the majority of the episode's all Earth Force, and kids like on the periphery just kind of then inserting himself in the story, which is great. We're seeing kind of Kid at his low of lows, where this always hurts me, like seeing him burn his comics, which is really sad. Like, oh,
I'm gonna go ahead and echo Executive, who says that the agents are kind of like the Gravity Falls agents, and yes, I agree. All right.
Let's see. So basically, Earth Force Enforcement Force. These guys are pretty much kind of like they're every cheesy.
Discount Power Rangers.
Exactly. Yes, they're kind of like they're. We've taken the cheesiest Power Rangers esque kind of super soldier group. That's pretty much what we got here. But I love that this is framed around. This is exactly what Kid Cosmic wanted, though. He wanted his team to be like these guys, and he's given a chance to see that's not all what it was cracked up to be, though.
Uh-huh.
Side, which is really great. Like this team, we're seeing
kind of like a never meet your hero sort of situation.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like being. It's kind of like this great thing of like when we just make our superheroes like cookie cutter and we just make them like they're great at everything and
right, yeah.
It turns into super friends. It turns into interchangeable, but like it feels like too manufactured, and that's kind of the point there. It doesn't have the homespun unique quality that our eclectic group had. Where these guys, while they did have a hilarious opening, I love that we've had the Kid Cosmic kind of like the comic book kind of framing of that team, where in this case we have like the government sponsored promo. And I love, you can see like they've used like the stock footage they have like Chuck and the other aliens who are not threatening, and also the delivery driver alien, which we got in the last episode too, by that poor delivery guy who was delivering the stones. He missed his daughter's birthday and he's so pissed off. Felt so bad for that guy. He's still stuck there. I feel bad.
I feel like we're not done with him yet, Dragon. I feel like he's gonna come back in some way.
I really want that guy. He was gonna kick the crap out of Chuck. That guy's so interesting to me. I want more of that guy. I'm saying like we're like framing. It's a very anti-alien promo reel and kind of pitch for the teams. I thought it was really clever how we're just kind of making fun of the old kind of like cookie cutter superhero team. Yeah, we're trying to make it as ethnically diverse and trying to please a lot of people being the idea, which is even funnier. Like they're all, it's. So let's see. So basically, Kid, Kid inserts himself when he makes the big epiphany that the alien forces that are invading are not really invading. They are trying to reclaim the stones that are in unison with their powers. So I love that it took a kid, not a soldier, to see, to put the pieces together like this. Yeah. And that basically he's kind of riding into danger, which is basically teeing up the big prediction from earlier in the season from the cat, which brings us into episode 9.
Oh God, what am I doing? I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, one sec, sorry. Sorry, I'm slow on the tick here. Okay. Kid Cosmic and the bad good guys. Yeah, so essentially this is what?
Isn't it the good bad guys?
Is it the? Oh, you're right. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God.
Well, that's too late now. Point being.
No, it's not. Hold on. Go ahead.
Anyway, so the team basically tries to stop the battle without superpowers, which is a really great kind of proof of their merit that these guys can be superheroes without the rings. That's kind of what this whole episode's about, like them being their best selves even without the rings.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So Kid reunites with the gang. They have a nice heart-to-heart in the car. It's like it wasn't the rings that made them a great team, which is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Let's see. They're all, of course, Kid's distracted by the talking cat, which is hilarious. And I love how the cat gets all the big speeches in the show. By the way, the cat is the speechy.
Well, we should talk. We should also talk about the Chuck's change in voice.
Oh yeah. Yes, we should. So the cat now sounds like
I assume it's still Tom Kenny doing it, right?
Yeah, still Tom Kenny. Yes.
Right.
And basically, the idea now that Chuck can speak English, but it pains him. But that's kind of his penance for all the bad stuff.
I love that twist.
Yeah, kind of sounds like
Um,
Gollum now.
Pretty much, yeah. That's a good way to describe it.
But it was good though, and again, it gives allows Chuck to be in the equation and kind of not be as like.
And also, we kind of brushed over his redemption a little bit, but he does have a big redemption. Like, he is pretty much one of the big people who's responsible for getting the team back together.
Absolutely, and he does save the day in the next episode in a big way. But
Yeah.
that's it. I love how far Chuck has come in investing in these guys, and he's really seen that. Again, Kid really proved him wrong, and also the other thing to highlight too is that his leader really betrayed him too. Like he just wanted to go.
Oh, yeah,
back.
big time. Well, not only betrayed, but also just personally disappointed him with how cowardly he was.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like a 2 for the price is 1,
Like Kid was never scared. His leader. Leader was. But Chuck came around in a big way, which is really nice. It's nice. Like, I know what did you get the feeling at the start of the season Chuck would have a redemption thing or what?
Honestly, at the start of the season, I was just kind of hoping he'd stick around as a character and not just be a one-off. And obviously, I was proven right there. But when he stuck around, I kind of got the feeling. Yes, I just wasn't sure how many episodes. I just when he first showed up, I wasn't sure if he was going to be a mainstay or not.
And when Chuck sticks around, he's really stuck around. All right, so we have the love like they're basically rallying in the battle. By the way, I love how we do the great subversion of like Papa G's big reveal of the super suits, but it's really deflated by like he can't get the thing open. Like this explains what his line of thought was. No, I was gonna dramatically kind of stop the car, like I wasn't gonna do it.
Right.
How do you feel about the suits, man? I really like them.
I like them too. Not much to say about them, but they aesthetically look good. They fit the tone of the show.
I like how the headphones are like the uniform look too. I like how this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Like they're different, yet they are. There's a uniform look, yet they're still more diverse than the Earth Enforcement Force guys. All right, let's see. So they're in the ice cream truck, which that's their big ride in the battle with the Kid Cosmobile. The Kid Cosmobile is really funny. Basically, the plan is ultimately so the Kid Cosmobile does not. It keeps getting sent to a portal in battle. Like, no, we gotta get these civilians out. He's like, portal them. It's just that they keep driving back again and again. So they're getting nowhere. So they basically Trojan horse their way to the Man in Black directly to point out that hey, the bad guys are good guys actually. And they make.
And then I'm sorry, Dragon, but this was legitimately kind of like the thing that confused me for like the bad good guys because it's essentially kind of like a twist of like, oh man, this he's not just a shady government agent, like he's really bad.
Yes, absolutely. So the biker, yeah, he just didn't care about the alien motive at all. It's basically what he's doing here is it's a show of force. He's just using the stones as the next superpower to the alien.
Exactly.
It's like Nick Fury without the understanding. It's just, what if Nick Fury was
That's
all
a good
like,
way to put it. Yeah.
Force steered us, so we hate everyone now. It's like, wait, what? Forget the Avengers. Forget that. Kill them all. Just kill them all.
Oh God. All right.
Kill them all with an arc reactor. Let's do it. Anyway, so so we and also at the end of the day, just the big takeaway is that we're backing small town versus the big corporate entity. At the end of the day, it's like the small town had more ethics and accountability than the big kind of government entity. I think it's kind of the takeaway of kind of this whole government reveal. I felt. And that brings us to the big finale.
All right, 1 second. Episode 10, Kid Cosmic, and the day is saved.
Of course, a little bit of a Powerpuff Girls nod. How can you not have it in a show about superheroes, especially the Kraken? The day is saved.
I really like that the conflict in this episode is solved about midway through, and then we get a nice little epilogue to it.
Yeah, it's not only epilogue, big setup for season 2.
Oh, yes, for sure.
I absolutely agree. And again, the climax was satisfying enough. I'm being honest. It was really, and I love. Honestly, a part of me is wondering.
Kind of like a better version of what Steven Universe usually did with their climaxes.
True. had this show had we not gotten the 6 months later, I would have thought this could have been like a perfect way to kind of round the show out. Honestly, if it never came back,
I agree. I agree.
it was a great arc.
To tell you the truth, I was kind of like, before the 6 months later, I was kind of like, like, oh god, this is almost too perfect of an ending. Is it
Yeah.
going to get a second season?
Exactly. I was thinking maybe McCracken just is going to go home happy with this, but
Right,
nope.
right, yeah.
So also just again with their structure here is getting to the finale. I love it's like a night-day cycle. All that happened at night. Now it's dawn. So now seemingly we're at the darkest hours here. Chuck saves the day with his paralyzing tongue. And he kind of again Chuck's on fire, man. He grabs a gun from a soldier. He shoots the bike, which again I love how offended the biker is. Like, no, you monster! Shot the bike, and he kind of frees Kid's stone again. Gives Kid the stone, particularly, not anyone else. But so Kid gets his big moment, and this climax is so perfect. And I love this big epic money shot that we teed up, where it's like the trucks, which also doubled as the base of operations for the government guy. Which again, end of the day, makes it so thematically appropriate to Kid's origin. This fleet of trucks and these aliens and his friends, again, the innocent people who were about to be killed by these oncoming trucks, and we tease the vision of the future, and Kid then has the full-on flashback to the tragedy. And I love that he just rejects losing his family again, and he stops, like, stop! He stops them all, and they're all floating, and then we reveal the green stone wasn't flight, but telekinesis. And
that was a great reveal.
By our Doctor Strange-looking alien. Yeah, the WizCon is that guy. Yeah, by the way, the aliens, they kind of highlight them because they're kind of important. At least one of them is going to be important.
They are very Craig McCracken. Like they are the most like classically Craig McCracken design. I feel like for the most part, like the humans have a pretty distinct art style to them, and then the aliens are just all out McCracken.
That they are. Like we have Wiz, just to shout him out real quick. We got WizCon, we got Queen Jan, who's going to be back in the season 2. PTSB, the giant robot guy. Meep, the little furball that grows up like a Twonky or a gremlin, what have you. And Gortho the Gargarian, who's looks like he should be in Samurai Jack, but he's cool looking.
Right.
But yeah, so like our alien races. But yeah, so we reveal that it's telekinesis, and I love that. He had superheroes on the brain, therefore flying was all. That's why he was always trying to fly that whole time. And the fact that we made it telekinesis is like giving Kid the power to stop this. That it's like if he could do this in the first place, his family would have been saved. So that it makes the stone even more fitting to him at the end of the day. It was just. It was kind of a perfect note. Then essentially after the day is saved here, a Kid then calls out the biker on his shady Nick Fury pitch of essentially joining. And this really touched me, man. I'm going to sound all wishy-washy, but I tell you, it just sounded. It really touched me. This whole. It's so simple, and again, it's like the early heroes help not hurt thing, where being a hero is not forming a fist; it's extending a hand, and that really got me. It's like, oh, it's so perfect. Yeah, it's more than forming a fist. It's like you don't go around just beating up people because they're different. And you don't understand them. It's like, yes, man, this kid's speaking so much wisdom right now. This is awesome. And then of course the freaking out, breathing out. We take the stones back and we return them to the after the loved ones kind of cramp the moment for a second. But yeah, it's a big moment of growth. How we surrender the stones to the aliens, and once we learn the origin of the stones was again yet another bit of brilliance on McCracken's part here. It's the idea these stones are remnants of the home worlds, and it was like it connected the kids kind of like why he's so interested in the superheroes. It's the last thing he was really into when his parents died, and he has so much parallels to the tragic origin stories of the superheroes. And just connecting that to the aliens and the stones as a concept was just so great.
Yeah, good stuff all around.
Okay, so what we've teased up for season 2, Rodius the Planet Killer.
Well, really quick, I want to mention that great music video type thing we get as an interlude into the 6 months later of it all, because I love how it's kind of like an old school punk rock song. I don't know, there's just something about the vibe of it that just really I can get down with. I don't know what it is.
Breakfast. I love that even the aliens are getting breakfast with them.
I just love the kind of like the old school punk vibe of the soundtrack in general. You know, it's got a great tone to it. Kind of fits the tone really well.
I didn't really think of. Here's the thing. I think you're absolutely right. I just didn't put a word to for me. I'm just like it's the ba 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 da 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 da
I'd say
music.
it's got like a pop punk vibe to it. That's how I describe it, like pop punk.
That sounds right. I just didn't think of it. So I'm glad you put kind of a name. That makes more sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, 6 months later, the diner is rebuilt. We've gone full circle. I love seeing Flo like going through the phone like Joe was earlier on, which is really now she's like all happy looking at her alien visitors. Kid's always been the thorn in Flo's side until now, where like now he brings her like the creamer that got broken because of all the shenanigans, which is really sweet. And then we set up season 2, Queen Jan talking about Herodias, the planet killer, a big Galactus-like threat who's been destroying. He's the reason stones exist, and there are 13 stones. Which is even crazier. Like, oh my god, there's 13. I was expecting.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You know what? Because given that was like a cool reveal, but then we have an amazing reveal with the we're going to space thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the cool reveal of the 13 stones. It's like I'm really excited about that. They can get a lot of they kind of got some Ben 10 energy going on there.
Yep, a little bit of Jackie Chan adventures. I'm always a sucker for just the tangible, like there's like this many things out there.
Right. And with 13, it's not like it's not like Lilo and Stitch with a 626 experiments. Yeah. It's like this is a tangible. Like we're going to see all 13 of those stones.
Yes, so I was very excited about that. Like, I'm getting some Talisman Jackie Chan Adventures vibes here. This is cool.
Right.
and then of course and we ended it so perfectly that what is the next logical step, especially if we're going to take on a Galactus level threat? Well, we Queen Jan forms one more portal. Also, it was gutsy. We killed off all the other aliens but Queen Jan, which is really sad. So, Kid Cosmic and the Intergalactic Truck Stop. It's like,
my god,
putting them in space. Yes,
you hear that, regular show? I'm sorry.
A great idea for season 2. We're taking
absolutely.
It's like the actual Nick Fury thing. So we're taking a step into a larger world. We're in a new phase now, man. We're facing a Galactus, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So, final thoughts, Dragon. What do you got?
I'm blown away by this. On the level of this thing is very much on the level of Infinity Train and Carmen Sandiego in terms of like kind of what we're getting in in the realm of 2D animation. Mm-hmm. It's so nice, and reaffirming to see the greats haven't lost their touch. Like again, so it doesn't fill you with a sense of wonder. Like McCracken's still got it, buddy.
Oh yeah, sure.
And in some cases,
I would wager. I'll save it for my final thoughts. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So it's that, the greats haven't lost their touch, and in some cases like this, may have gotten even better, which I feel has gotten even better. I would go as far as say this might be the best. I mean, look, I love Powerpuff Girls. Don't get me wrong. But if you look at Powerpuff Girls, it kind of lost. This is only its first season, so I can't make a direct comparison here. But it's like this is there's something different than anything he's ever done before here. It was just so well planned out and perfectly structured. I was just nothing bad came out of this thing. This was just perfect. I love this. Yeah.
I very much second you, man. I was completely on board with this. This thing has style to spare. It's a 90s throwback without feeling desperate about it. It's got a lot of Scholastic Book Fair vibes, which I love.
Yeah.
Killer punk rock soundtrack. I can't wait to see where it goes. I think it's a real win for Netflix. And Dragon, honestly, I would wager to say it is Powerpuff Girls is classic, yes, but I think if they stick to landing on this thing and the next 2 seasons are as good as the first one, I think this could very well be McCracken's magnus opus.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, folks. Well, thank you all for joining us. This week we'll have some Batcaves out. We'll have another Black History Heroes. We will, of course, be talking WandaVision and so much more. Until next time, thanks for joining us, Executive and Claude Karinga, and have a good night, everyone.
Heroes help, not hurt.